Okay, hi everybody, and welcome to the Herbal Talks. It's me, Carmela, and Agnes having this talk today where we invite you to join us. And my name is Carmela Guida. I'm a Swedish herbalist. I love herbs, and I'm the founder of the Swedish family business Örtfabriken, the herbal factory. And we mainly offer very, very nice tinctures to you. And with me today is Agnes. And our idea is to have these herbal talks. It's mainly like for our own sake to be able to talk about our passion. And we invite you to these talks. So, Agnes, hi, how are you?
Hey, hello, everyone. Hello, Carmela. I am fine, thank you.
Let me know something about you. Who are you?
Okay, yes. So I am a doctor in plant ecology, also a medicinal plant producer, an educator for Nordiska Örter, which is a herbal farm I have founded to crop, process, and sell medicinal plants.
Fantastic. And where are you based in Sweden?
Uppsala.
Uppsala. Oh, fantastic. Yes. And I'm at the south of Stockholm in Sweden.
Oh.
Yes. Okay, and today we have talked for some time on what we want to talk about, and the herbal topics are so broad you can like go almost any direction. But today we want to talk about your herbal path, and I think maybe the herbal path for every herbalist, the herbal path, like what made you start with herbs? That's maybe the most like. I don't know, we all want to hear each other's stories. And sharing these stories, we also want to make you as a listener engaged and also like inspired to go into the herbal world. So, Agnes, what was your way into the herbal path?
I think it was a bit long, actually.
You're welcome.
But something that has always been there, it's I have always loved nature. And when I was younger, I could spend afternoon in the garden of my parents where I grew up, looking at lavenders because it was so much bees and butterfly flying around. And I was so crazy about insects at that time. And I went to university to study biology because at that time I really liked nature. I wanted to do a job with nature and especially insects. So first I went there with the goal to be an entomologist, which is anyone and like a researcher working on insects or with insects. Mm-hmm. And through my master, I getting to know the world of plant, of course, because in biology we see animals, but also plants. And it's through, I would say, my PhD thesis that my thought switched from insect to plant, since my PhD thesis was mostly focused on studying the defense, chemical defense in plants between wild and cultivated plants. And so I have started to go out. I was also doing my PhD thesis in Finland, where it's a bit like Sweden. So nature is very close by. And I was living by the forest. So it was very easy to me to just, each time I go for a walk, I was just surrounded by greens and I started to forage for edible plants and so on. So at that time, I also wanted to be a bit more zero waste. And everything in Sweden and Finland come from in supermarket, like all the vegetables packed in plastic. And I just wanted to get rid of plastic. So I just thought, what can I eat locally? Which food can I find locally? And it's also like this. I started to forage. I started to make my own creams, like skincare, my own homemade product, cleaning product. So always with herbs. And what really prompted me to kind of do what I'm doing today, it's when I moved back to Sweden, I got Borrelia, so Lyme disease, that has been detected lately. So I had already fatigue, lot of fatigue, and lot of pains in the arm muscles. And
did it take to get the symptoms from the tick?
Yeah, so I did not get really a strong redness. So that's why it was a bit like I had a redness, but it was like we see when you are on internet and you can search for it, it's often like very dark and a round cycle. It wasn't like that. It was much more pale, like light, peak. So I didn't know it was that. And at that time, I was a lot out. We were doing renovations. So I thought my muscle pain was just hack of exercising.
Yeah, you were living on the countryside and doing physical work. Yeah.
So it really took me a while to really think like, this may be linked, like my tick bite and this fatigue, because I had also fatigue that I did not really understand. And usually in summer, it's where I am the most high in energy. And I could sleep 12 hours and still be tired. And I had also itching, like in the arm. And so I went to the doctor and I got, so they said it's probably Borrelia, and I got 3 weeks doxycycline, so an antibiotic. But, and then I also seek for an herbalist to make sure I get rid of Borrelia by combining like modern medicine and plants, and which was very good, because as soon as the doxycycline, it's like 80% of the big symptom left with the antibiotic. But then 20%, let's say, symptoms stayed like locally. And it's really taking the herbs that for long term that helped me to get rid of this leftover symptom. And it's really where I discovered the power, like the real power behind, like beyond foraging and making my own products. And I was already like doing my herbal tea and so on, but it wasn't such breathtaking in terms of effectiveness, let's say. And then a lot of things around me changed in my life, and I decided to become a producer of herbs, as it's something I have been seeing missing here in Sweden. As many I have been looking for buying herbs, for example, and the quality isn't necessarily great, and all herbs you purchase online, even from organic brands, are come from like outside Europe or Europe. So, but it's always outside Sweden.
Maybe we don't have so many herbal farms or herbal producers in Sweden. Also because maybe we lost a little bit contact with this part of our ancestry where we used herbal medicines. And then, of course, there is not so much to found. Like also if we look at our neighbors, like in Great Britain, Ireland, there's a lot of producers, and also in the Baltic states. So it's not only a matter about climate or temperature or being too cold. It's more like we have missed it a little bit. So I think your way of visualizing your future is great.
Yeah. So also in France, there is so much producer, like especially in the south, like in Provence. I mean, of course, it's well known for all the huge lavender crops, also for the perfume industry. So there's a lot of producers, not only for like tea industry, but there is like, it's a job to be herbs producer, and it's a job to be professional forager in France. And they forage for so perfume industry or pharmaceutical industry, or they are more small scale, local, for selling like locally herbs and tisane, infusion, herbal tea.
And definitely it's like this in the rest of Europe, like that herbal medicine, it's such a big industry, if we call it like that. And I think in Sweden, our wish and is slowly increasing. We want the natural. We want to understand where our food is coming from, because at the end, herbal medicine is more food than medicine. Yes, and so I strongly feel that it's growing in Sweden also. This longing for nature and plants and holistic health. And Agnes, did you really say where you were born? Where
No.
I want to visualize where little Agnes was with this lavender and insects.
So I wasn't in Provence in France. So I grew up in France, but it's what we call the centre, the région centre, which is the center region of France, which is kind of in the center, a bit west. Like if you see Brittany, like the arm of France, it's kind of on the bottom of the arm. And then there is Paris, which is, So I'm Middle, let's say middle, but it's no mountain, it's no oceans, it's more crops and flat landscape. Yeah.
Ah, nice. Yeah.
But it's a lot of like wheat croppings around and a cow milk farm.
Mm.
I have great memories of having a friend in school, and her parents were having a milk farm. So I remember drinking fresh milk there. That's so nice.
Nice. And then it's also nice, like thinking that you saw your future there, like the insects, which of course is interesting. And then you also saw the medicinal plants, the lavender, which is a great medicinal helper.
Yeah.
And you saw it there, and then you just needed to go through like your life, and now you are together.
Exactly. It's totally that, like everything I do now it has like an explanation with my childhood, I would say, because even like cropping, like gardening, just having my own crops and being patient about herbs. This, like when I was with my parents and my mom was cooking, like if it was one, I have two other sisters, and when she needed herbs, like chive or thyme or rosemary, each time she knew she was asking me, because I loved to go there, then cut the fresh herbs and then bring it back. So this is something I really love to do, and now I can understand where I am now. Yeah, and why. Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And to recapture also, when you got sick with this Lyme disease, had you been sick before this time? Like, had you had like allergies or problems, or was it like the first time you got sick?
Yeah, I mean, no, I have no allergies or a big like I don't have asthma. I don't have like a chronic or big past with this. It's just common cold and flu.
Yeah.
And,
then I think also, because I'm just thinking that maybe also when you get these symptoms, it takes a long time before you start to like, something is wrong. Like you thought that maybe I have been working too hard.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe it's my muscles. What's this? And all these symptoms that you described, this autoimmune chronic symptoms, are very vague. And also if you tell someone, maybe they think like, oh, maybe you should just sleep a little bit more, or maybe you should just relax a little bit more. And also it was very good that you found a doctor that could identify this quite quickly. Yeah,
it was quite hard, I have to say, to get someone who take it seriously.
Okay. Yeah.
Because in Sweden there is they have also this kind of, they based also on scientific research, the treatment of Lyme disease, and especially with antibiotics, because if they are taking too late or too long time, there is more negative effect of taking antibiotics than benefit of getting rid of the wrong bacteria, so Borrelia. So they were not so willing to like give antibiotic after so long time, because usually these should be taken quite quickly after discovery.
Yeah.
Yes.
Definitely. Yeah. And did you cooperate with a herbalist to use the herbs, or did you research yourself and study?
No, I did research myself. So yeah, I got the doctor on one side, and then I did research myself. They did not work in common.
Yeah. But you had you told me once that you used a very interesting herb too, which is well known, like within the herbal world, to like help support yourself with when you have Lyme disease. Parkslide. What's that in English?
Yes, Japanese knotweed.
Yeah.
I wish I could crop it here, but I think a lot of people will hate me because it's very invasive, and it's present in Sweden, but just people just want to get rid of it. So everywhere it's somewhere, it's removed. So
I can indicate like so many places where you can go and harvest, I think.
Yes. yeah, I would love to. Yes, I think people would like it too, because you take the roots when you take the So I think this herb is really, really great. I really like it, and I start also to dye like because I have lots of leftover roots.
Mhm.
So I start to dye clothes with it.
Dye,
Like to make
like
color.
color. Yeah, wow.
Yes.
And what color does it produce?
It's kind of beige. It depends of the textile you use. So the one I had was cotton, and it gives something beige, like
Mhm.
light pink.
Mm.
Yeah. And but if you use more like wool fiber, it's more yellow.
Uh-huh.
Mm.
So interesting. Now I see that you walk around with a T-shirt and written Parkslide T-shirt.
Yes.
Yeah. And in the future, we should really talk about invasive, invading plants. Why are certain? I think it's so interesting. Like this is like we all know, like not weed can like destroy the value of your property if you get it in your garden. It's really like people think it's so difficult to get rid of it. But why are these plants invading? And many of them are medicinal, like we will not go into it here, but I think let's remember to talk about it. And I'm so happy that you got well and also that you got this experience from herbs. I think that's also like a turning point when you get into the herbal world and where you feel that you can like really rely on herbs, of course, together with traditional medicine, allopathic medicine, of course. And but when you get this feeling, like for me, it's a sense of serenity and feeling like of comfort, like nature is there and you can like there's so much support you can get on a physical level, on an emotional level, on also like spiritually helping your friends and family. It's like a fantastic skills.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Agnes, maybe you could share some ideas. I know that many people in Sweden want to get this knowledge to reconnect with nature and with herbal mysteries. And could you maybe share some ideas of where you could go in Sweden to get this?
I think like a good starting point for anyone is just to start going out and look for any plant to forage. It's also like how I started. But just by doing this, I was spending so much more time outside, so much more time working, and then I was taking samples of plants. So you get to know them. And then the best will be if you really want to make sure you are not doing anything dangerous and not eating plant that you should not pick. Then it's of course is to do so with like a guide, so that is Botanical Society, for example. But often they are extremely good. People from I know we have like one in Uppsala. Like they are very good with plant identification, but on plant use they are less knowledgeable.
Sure.
So, but excellent at identification, and they know so much. I think they know all the species. Yeah. So, like local species.
So botanical society is one. You can also find this in your, like if you have a nature park, like I have Tyresta, south of Stockholm, and there at the Naturum you can find like botanical experts who they do a lot of walks, for example.
Yeah. And then, so I have a foraging and wild crafting course. So that lasts between 6 and 7 months. This year was 6 months. It's going to be 7 next year. So because we could extend a bit and forage for more yearlier crops. So it's from April to October, and we meet once a month to a different location surrounding Uppsala to discover different plants and a different also cycle, like life cycle, like in different time in the season. So when they are in leaves, how to recognize them when in leaves, when they are in flower, and also later in the season, the fruits. And each time, like at the beginning, we really go through the different plants, but then on the other session, we also go through which use you can make from it. So it's very, I would say, general course about foraging and all the things you can do with plants. It's not so deep into herbal medicine, but it's a good starting point to really get to know plants who are locally outside and see if you can eat them or make tea from it, or we're gonna make drinks also. And what do? We make a bit of, we will try to make some salve and some cream. And so we see a little bit of everything and some tincture, I think we will do. So,
the foraging, starting with that, like attending your course is a perfect way, because like starting to grow, it's a different, like it requires so much more, but you don't need to do all this. You can easily go out into nature. So really, like taking a foraging course like Agnes' course is an excellent way of starting.
When I was building that course, I was also thinking like there's a lot of people in town that can't grow. And me, I was very like motivated also by the increasing of self-sufficiency, like home self-sufficiency with foraging. And I was like, I really wanted to show that there is so much stuff for home use you can do with plants that you can forage. And no matter if you are in town or in countryside, you can still end up at the end of one season with your whole apothecary or scaffery full of tea. So you don't need to buy tea or cafe because you have alternative, or you don't need to buy cream or like skincare because you have alternative with what you have in your kitchen, oil, beeswax, plant. And you don't need to buy necessary neither cleaning product, because if you combine a good plant with vinegar, you have the good spray, like multi-use spray. So it was really, really that I also wanted to share when I created this course.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. Fantastic. And do you have any other suggestions?
I think we have, maybe you know more than me, because you have been there. That is, so Biskop Arne.
Yeah.
I think they do more.
Arne in between Stockholm and
Uppsala.
Yeah. It's a fantastic, it's a Swedish folk high school. So all the courses are subsidized by the Swedish state. So like some are for free and others you pay, like if you go a summer course. And there they also have this herbal garden. So it's well worth it. Like it's not just studying like theoretically, it's really like going out, picking, doing your thing, smelling and everything. That it should be. Yeah.
And do they have like theoretical course really on that herbs properties and how work herbal medicine? Or?
Not so like clear. They do it on Nordens Biskops Arne. The teacher, Janne Hallqvist, he's like a real expert. He has been into this area for maybe 30 years. So he's really, really good. Otherwise, in Sweden, I'm not sure that we have.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what about also the membership, your membership of Anna's Läketrädgården?
Yes, that we can also, that's a perfect way if you cannot attend personally. Then you have Anna Läketrädgården. She has a digital platform and where she also like go like from the basics and continuing onwards. So we can also like, we will write here in the cap afterwards, like you will be able to see everything written here. Yeah. Excellent. And Agnes, you had a fantastic offer.
Yeah, so if anyone wants to start to forage next April till next October, so 2024, there is a Foraging and Wildcrafting Course 2024, which is open for registration. And now it's yearly bird registration. So until the end of December, the course has a 15% offer, like off. So it's at 3,100 kroner. Instead of 3,600 kroner.
600, yeah. Yes. Okay. Excellent. Yes, that's a great opportunity. And we will start to end our Herbal Talks now. And we hope that you enjoyed it and that you continue to join us in these talks and conversations where we share our passion. And you are, of course, welcome to visit our websites. Both Örtfabriken and Nordiska Örter has a very nice blog. So with a lot of information and knowledge, so please visit us and follow us. Okay, Agnes, let's continue our Herbal Talks.
Yes. See ya.
See you. Okay, bye-bye.